Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Unschooling Lifestyle. Today, I have Mia Reynolds as a guest. Her and I connected in one of our local unschooling groups, and her and her son Braylon have been, we've been meeting regularly, and Braylon has autism. So I'm going to pass it on to Mia so she can introduce herself and tell us how her journey got started into an autism diagnosis. Hi, Mia. Welcome. Thank you for being here with
Hi.
us.
Thank you for having me. But my name is Mia Reynolds. I have an 11-year-old son, Braylon, and I'm trying to think. He officially got diagnosed right before his fourth birthday.
Okay.
Um, so as far as our journey, I want to say I suspected that he might be autistic
Okay.
around 6 months.
Okay.
It was just little things. From 6 months on, it was like no eye contact, not really responding to his name when called and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of being sensitive to certain sounds and things like that. Um, I did take him to his pediatrician to, talk about it.
Uh-huh.
And his first pediatrician was like, well, kids develop
Definitely.
differently, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to jump the gun with that. And I was like, well, okay. you know it was still just like a feeling, because of course, I'm like not like an expert or anything as far as autism is concerned, but I
Mm-hmm.
was just, it was just a feeling.
Yeah.
So I want to say I did kind of put it off because his doctor really didn't seem concerned.
Okay.
I want to say I brought it back up his third around his third birthday, only
Okay.
because I think I really didn't notice how, I guess, different he was developing towards other kids, because like he's like the first grandson, nephew, like,
Okay.
it was just him. And so once I decided to put him in daycare, and I seen him like with the other kids and stuff, and I was just like, it kind of got back,
Got you
thinking in my
thinking.
head.
Yes.
So I did go back to his pediatrician, brought it up again. He kind of, dismissed me, and I was like, so I
Okay.
actually, I switched pediatricians,
Okay.
and I talked to his new pediatrician about my concerns, and he was like, well, it wouldn't hurt to, get him tested. So I was like,
Okay.
well, okay. And so yeah, we got the diagnosis before his fourth birthday.
Wow. Now, what are those tests? What are they like? The testing.
Um, for us, it was like a 1 day thing.
Okay.
He had different meetings with a pediatrician who specializes with like autistic children,
Okay.
a speech therapist, um, who else was there? A psychiatrist. It was like different meetings with different
Okay.
like health specialists, and then they got back to us just a few weeks later. I
Oh,
want to say
wow.
just
Okay.
yeah, it didn't take long. Like I said, it was a 1 day thing,
Mm-hmm.
and so we got the diagnosis like before his fourth birthday.
What was it like once you said, okay, that we have this diagnosis to work with? What goes next?
Okay, so for me, I'm pretty sure my response is different from other parents, because when I finally like got the news, it was like I kind of felt relieved,
Okay,
because
yes.
for
I can
me,
see that.
it was the unknowing that was
Yes.
worrying me. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I feel like something's going on, but I'm not sure. And like I said, his first pediatrician was just kind of, I felt like blowing me off. So when I got the I was like, okay, so it's not just me, like,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So like I said, I've heard other stories, from parents, and this, it's they have a very upset reaction and stuff, and I get
Of
that. But like I
course.
said, for me, I was like, okay, it's not just me, it's not just in my head. So it
Mm-hmm.
was more like a relief, because my view on it is, if I don't know what's going on, how can I
How can you
help
help?
him, how can I
Yes.
be there for him? So for me, it was worse not knowing.
Of
But
course.
so I want to say, um it wasn't too long after we got the paperwork. They actually mailed it in to me. And then I set up another appointment with his with his regular pediatrician and
Okay.
just like go over options and everything. And they did bring up, ABA therapy and things like that.
Okay.
Um, like I said, completely new to this, didn't really even know what that was.
What that was,
And
yes.
so we did, we tried it out.
Can you explain a little bit? So I am not very familiar with ABA.
Uh-huh.
I know very little. Can you explain in your own words what that is or what that how do they put it how do they explain it to you as to we should do this. This is what Braylon needs.
Yeah, so it was like suggested to me, just like, a therapy, like a play therapy,
Okay.
that he would do a certain amount of days, certain amount of hours. And,
Mm-hmm.
they gave us the choice of either having somebody come to the house or, a center that they knew of, to send them to. So
Okay.
I had the option, the center I picked, we did both. I had them come during the weekdays, and then on the weekend, like Saturday and during the summer, I was, have him go to the center.
Okay.
And for for me, just observing ABA therapy, it was a lot of like life skills. Like they would do a little bit of everything. Like they would go over him with certain things like like tying shoes, or
Okay.
working with fine motor skills and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
then it was also like different like social scenarios and things like that. It was just a mix of things that they did to work with him. Um it was fine in the beginning.
Because at this time he's like four, right? He's like
Yeah.
four going into almost five.
Hmm.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And he was, he did do preschool and, go to kindergarten. And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, like I said, it was it was like long, but I think what it was like now thinking back on it,
Mm-hmm.
because he was in school all day and then come home and do because of our, I think it was because of our insurance, if I remember correctly, they like recommended a certain amount of hours. So
Okay.
they would like come after school for maybe 3, 4 hours. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
So he would do like kindergarten and he would come home. He in the full day?
um for kindergarten, no.
No.
But then
Okay.
for first grade, because like I said, we did it for a few years.
Okay.
And so
So his whole
it
day was between school and therapy and ABA therapy, right?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I noticed, especially once he started, first grade and like, doing the full school day,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I would describe it as some kind of rebelling. He never really had like destructive behaviors or things like
Mm-hmm.
that, but I would notice um writing on the walls, kicking and running from people. Even
Mm-hmm.
at school he was like, trying to run out of class and things like that. And I just felt like that it was just kind of getting too much for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I would bring up my concerns, they'd be like, "Oh, well, this is normal. We can work with him to get him out of these behaviors, and this is normal." And I'm like, it wasn't my normal.
You experience a different kind of normal, a different kind of person
Yeah.
almost when you guys were not in therapy, right?
Hmm.
And what do those days look like? Was that big of a difference, between being in therapy and being out,
Hmm.
like almost freer, right? Then
Yeah. I like always describe my son as like just a cool, calm, collected, kind of go with the flow kind of
mm-hmm.
kid.
That's who
And
I know.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's just how he is. But it was like a lot of destructive behaviors. Like even at one point, because we would do the therapy in our living room, and there would be times where he would get frustrated. Maybe like they would ask him repeatedly to do something that he already did, go
Oh,
over a
okay.
worksheet that he already did, and then he would try to run off, and he would either like grab or kick at the television,
Mm-hmm.
which, like I said, this was not for me. This was not normal, but for them, this was like, oh, this is how this is how these kids do. It's okay, it's fine. And I was just like, is
So your
it?
inner voice was saying something to you, right?
Yeah, I was really feeling like, I don't know if this is for me. Like I said, it wasn't my normal how
Yes.
he was behaving in school, and especially with them. I just feel like he was almost rebelling, and I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
this is not it just didn't feel right. But they kept saying, to trust them, and like this is normal. We can work with it. We can work with it. Um, for me, the change was probably like I said, we did it for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say the biggest change for me was Facebook and social media.
Okay.
Uh, for me, I don't even remember how I found
I was gonna say,
these
I was gonna
groups of
ask you, how did you get there? What was
yeah, because
happening? You were just searching for something else, right? Your
actually I
voice
think
was,
what it was a page that I had already followed that talked about just different social justice issues and everything.
mm-hmm,
But the young lady actually ended up I think it was around April, because Autism Awareness Month, that
mm-hmm.
she herself was autistic, and then like
Okay.
she just posted like a long list of other pages and groups and things like that ran by autistic adults.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of clicked for me, like as I'm going through the list that she posted, and I'm looking at and I'm like, this makes a lot of sense to, like, that they're giving their advice, they're giving their thoughts, and it's just like, oh, that makes a
And
lot of sense.
what was that advice? What were their thoughts?
Um, for one thing, it was they really were focusing on like just developing an actual relationship with your child.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they had different advice as far as school and as far as um talking about bullying, and really it was just them telling their stories of
Mm-hmm.
how it was for them growing up, things that they went through, things that they wish other people knew
And
about
no.
the autistic community and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And it was like, it just made so much sense to listen to, actually
Someone.
autistic people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It
totally.
just like it just kind of clicked. I was like, oh my, like, I wish I would have seen this sooner. Like, but like I said, until she posted that list, it just didn't even, I didn't even think about it until I'm like I just feel like they had such good advice, like just hearing
Mm-hmm.
things in their own
In
words,
their words.
their own experiences, and that was to me life changing.
So you would start reading this advice and you feel it that you were right, right? That your intuition was guiding you in the right direction. So what are the
Hmm.
next steps? What steps do you take to stay true to that intuition and to help your son?
Yeah, so they, posted their opinions about ABA,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them, a lot of them were very anti ABA
Anti-ABA.
therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was saying, I was explaining to my family, like sometimes I feel like they're trying to almost change my son, and I felt
Mm-hmm.
like
Of
he didn't need to be changed.
course.
Um, and that's how they felt, like they felt, they were trying to make them unautistic or something. It's like that's just
Mm-hmm.
not possible.
Of
So
course.
I did, talk to my son about it, and we, talked about it and decided ABA just wasn't for us.
Okay.
So we did end up taking him out. And
It-
he still went to school at that time,
okay.
public school, but it was a difference.
What when you decide to take Braylon out of ABA, did you get a pushback from the people that were doing the therapy or whoever was providing the services?
Not a hard pushback. Like there were questions and I guess, concerns and things that they
Mm-hmm.
were, talking about. But like he had a care coordinator that I spoke with, and I just told her, like, I feel like, we've done this for a few years. It ran its course. We just want to,
Mm-hmm. Try something else.
yeah, we want to try something else. And she was like, okay, if you, really feel like it, I'll talk to the center for you, and we could, cancel
Mm-hmm.
services and things like that. So, I think it also helped speaking directly with her and having her, speak for us too.
That's
I
good.
do think that, yeah. So I do think that helped. But like I said, as far as his behavior, it was it was night and day. I felt like, you know, Braylon was back. Like like how he was before. Like I said, he was always just a cool, calm, collected kid.
Yes.
Yeah. So
That is fantastic. Such a story of, courage, right? Because everyone's telling you the opposite, that,
yeah.
that the therapy was what he needed.
Hmm.
But I love what you said about making the connection, and how, the other people that run those groups focus on that, the importance of having that connection and building that connection and trust with your
Hmm.
child. So so you guys stopped the ABA, and then he stays in school. So how does homeschooling or unschooling, I don't know, were you a traditional homeschooler before you like switched into unschooling, or
Yeah.
how does that come into play?
I want to say it was the pandemic that kind of
Okay.
changed everything. We tried the school's way of, they had all the kids bring home like little laptops
The
and
laptops,
everything.
yes.
It was very hard.
Oh my goodness. Like, what grade is Braylon in at this time?
He was in third grade.
Oh, that's a hard. I can't
Yeah.
imagine. Yes.
Yeah. So like trying to get all these kids, focused and actually do their lessons, and us parents, trying to fill out, all this, paperwork or whatever. It, it was a lot.
Of course. Sounds like it.
And I did kind of always have in the back of my mind the thoughts of homeschooling, but
Okay.
I wasn't sure if I could do it. I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know a lot of people that homeschooled. I did not know
Mm-hmm.
any, especially any working parents. When I did kind of in 2020 start to research it, it was like a lot of like stay-at-home moms and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And
Yes.
I was like, I'm not sure if I can
If
do
you could
that,
do that. Yes.
So,
Yes.
but like I said, 2020 was kind of like the year where I was like, maybe we should at least give it a try, at
Mm-hmm.
least. Um, but yeah, I feel like as far as homeschooling journey, we started like every parent looking up all the different curriculums out
Curriculums. Oh
there
my
and
God. Yes.
spending unnecessary
Un-
amounts of money
oh my goodness. Yes. I mean,
trying
yes.
to find the best curriculum for the
Yes.
child and things like that. And it was okay, but
I love it how you say it. It was okay.
it was
That's just
okay,
like
but
drawn
I don't
up.
know. I feel like he's such a curious, kid. I like, when he asks questions about things, and I just felt like the longer we were in school, the less he wanted to learn,
Of
and
course.
I wasn't comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Like, when I was talking about homeschooling, one of the things was I was telling my family I just want him to be a lifelong learner. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
him to lose that spark, that curiosity. And
Yes.
so I had made like a little YouTube playlist of for homeschooling and just watching different videos, and then it was one that talked about different styles, like different types of
Mm-hmm.
homeschooling, and that's where I found out about unschooling.
Okay.
And I just felt like it was better for me and him just because we're such go with the flow people, and just and I really like the idea of child-led learning. I thought
Yes.
that was just really interesting, really cool, and I was like, let's give it a try,
Let's give it a try.
and we both end up liking it
I
a
love
lot.
it.
I just felt like it was so interesting. I felt like it was a very interesting journey. Like I felt like not only was he learning, but I
Mhm.
was learning too.
Of course, yeah.
Like
That's
right
the
now
beauty of it.
right now he's really in the space, and he's, so interested. He's so focused that, he's learning so much, and he's coming and, telling me, found this planet and that planet. He's telling
Hmm.
me, all this information. I'm like, really? Like
That's so cool.
it's funny. Like he'll talk to me or he'll talk to my mom or my sister, and we're all like, what? Like I didn't know that.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's just really cool. It's really awesome just seeing his face light up, seeing him excited about learning.
Mm.
Like unschooling, or child led learning, whatever you want to
Hmm.
call it.
Yes.
It was just very awesome for us. It was just really, really cool to see um him taking charge of his own education, him
Hmm.
wanting to learn, him wanting to, watch all the videos and look at all the books and, just, asking questions. And then, I'm like, well, let's look it up. Let's, you
Let's
know,
find out.
yeah,
Yes.
let's find out. We'll go to the library. Actually, we're here now.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
awesome.
We're at the library now. Check out books about, whatever he wants to learn. And one thing that I was kind of nervous about, because I'm like, well, what if he doesn't want to, you know, get really into like English or math
Hmm.
and when I would sit back and watch him, like on his iPad or on his computer, I
Yes.
would catch him looking up, like how to add and subtract fractions. Or,
Wow.
I would catch him watching, different English lessons on YouTube. Like they have like very kid friendly like English lessons.
Yes.
I was
Hmm.
like, oh, this is, it was just so
Yes.
interesting to me. Like
Yes.
when I let him kind of like be in charge of his
Yes.
he wanted to, like the stuff that he's looking at. I'm like, I'm thinking back when I was in school and I was like,
No,
I
yeah,
did
we
not
didn't
care
want.
about this. I
Same
did not care
here.
about adding and subtracting fractions. Like
Yes.
I did not care about, decimals and so
Of
it was
course,
just
yes.
really interesting but also really cool seeing that he wanted to learn. It wasn't
Yeah.
me or a teacher saying this is what you have to learn. It was
Yes.
just him naturally being interested in it.
Yes. And it was on his own timeline though, because a lot of people, and I think a lot of people that are starting to homeschool, one of the biggest complaints that they have is like, my child doesn't want to learn. And I've always thought about it because at the beginning I felt that way, like my child doesn't want to learn because he didn't want to do the math lesson that I
Hmm.
had so, like I had prepared for him, right? I had all this,
Right.
scribbles and doubles, and I'm like, oh, here is our math lesson for today, but it just wasn't what he needed at that time.
Yeah.
And I could not for the life of me understand that. Like, what do you mean? Like, why is this not important to you right now?
Right.
So, but once they find their rhythm, I feel that everything comes natural. It's like learning, I've always said, is non-linear. And I feel like in the school system, it's very linear. Like you have to learn, A before you go to B. But why can't you learn C before you learn A? Or,
Right.
is this like model that it's the one way of learning?
Yeah.
And I love how he has found his own rhythm. And I know he's an artist because he says, right? Can you talk a
Yes.
little bit more about that aspect, that part of him that is very important to him?
Yeah. So I want to say around first or second grade, I think he got a maybe like a birthday or Christmas gift. I'm not sure, but it was just like Play-Doh.
Okay.
And, he would just play with it in his I noticed he really liked to play with it in his hands and just, he started making little things, making people, making animals and, making different shapes and stuff. But then like as time went on, like he just really kept improving to the point
Mm-hmm.
to where if my family was around, they'd be like, Braylon did that, like, like, oh, that's actually pretty good, and even when he was in school, one of his teachers had entered him like in this art contest because she noticed that he liked to play with, the putty or the clay
Mm-hmm.
in class, and he actually, won the school contest, and then he even went to state level, like
State
as far
level.
as his art. And so that was one of the things that I really wanted to um have him, focus on was art. Cause I'm like,
It's really,
just other people be like, he's kind of good at this, Mia, you know, like, wow, he did that, you know. So like I was telling you, like I need to start taking pictures because like I know
mm-hmm.
my mom and my sister, they're like, oh, this is awesome. So they've been taking pictures, but um and now like having the freedom and of, you know, kind of having him take charge of his own education. And
Yes.
one of the things that I did was I took him, it was in downtown Detroit, this immersive art experience.
Mm-hmm.
It was the artist was Van Gogh. And I took
Yes.
him, and me and him had a great time. We spent the day there, had a great time, looking at all the art and hearing the music and everything.
Of course.
And so while the show was going on, you know, he grabbed me and he whispered, you know, like, is he an artist? And I said, yeah, Van Gogh's an artist. He said, like me? And I'm like, yes,
I
yes,
love
like
that.
you. So, and it's been a few times that he has told me, you know, I'm an artist, you know,
Yes.
like he's telling me who he is. And I'm like,
Yes.
okay, you're an artist, you know, you say you're an
Mm-hmm.
artist. All right, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
So I just, I love homeschooling. I love having him, you know, I just love having him around. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
he's just very, I feel like he's more confident in
Yes.
himself and just,
Yes.
he's just, you know, growing, and it's just awesome to see him grow. And yeah, I love it.
Yes, I really love that though, because I feel like children from from the time that we're born, I think we know who we are as people. Like we
Mhm.
know what we like and what we love and what we don't like. But then often, more often than not, we are trying to fit into this path that society has given to us,
Yeah,
and we forget who we are, and I think Braylon's experience with having the time to explore and build upon a foundation of love and trust and connection has really made him, like flourish more into who he already knows that he is, and
yeah.
that he is an artist. And I thank you so much for sharing that with us. So I wanted to ask you, he's now 11, and you started this journey, I mean, from the beginning, from when he was 6 months old. For people that are watching this and perhaps they think they have a son or a daughter that's perhaps autistic, and they're starting the journey to get a diagnosis, what kind of words of wisdom would you have for that? For people that have found a diagnosis and they feel the nudge like you did, that it wasn't what they needed.
Yeah,
What would
so
you say to them too?
that's a good question. So I really feel like just listening to your gut, because
Yeah.
like I said, with him, I suspected that he might be autistic, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, his first pediatrician was kind of just like blowing me off and everything. So um just to really listen to yourself, you know, to your inner voice. Don't, you know, question yourself, because I guess because I really didn't know much about autism, I was questioning myself, like, well, maybe he's not, maybe, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't sure. But it's like actually, you know, going as far as switching pediatricians and, you know,
Yes.
actually having somebody that listened to my concerns and
Mm-hmm.
everything, you know, was, you know, just great. And I really felt like kind of really got us started on the path of, you know, just really getting him, you know, what he needs.
Yes.
Excuse me. So basically just, you know, listen to yourself and really stay like determined as far as, you know, getting that diagnosis, having somebody listen to you, you know.
Yes.
So I really feel like, you know, that's important. And as far as as far as like services or anything extra, it's I really feel like having actually getting that diagnosis, the best thing to do, listen to autistic people.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's such, it just makes so much sense to listen to somebody who's actually already been through it,
Mm-hmm.
um who knows what it's like to be in your child's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of us, because I've, you know, talked to other autistic parents, and I really want us to get out of that woe is me type of thing, and I really want us to just really accept our kids, because that's
Hmm.
another thing that the autistic community is talking about as far as April is concerned, not just autism awareness, but autism acceptance.
Wow. That's
Um,
beautiful. That's
yeah,
huge.
yeah. When I started seeing them say that, switching it up from autism awareness to autism acceptance month, I'm like,
Acceptance.
I love that.
Yes.
I love it. So, um, really try. Like I said, for me, it was Facebook. Whatever social media platform you're on, they are there.
Hmm.
Um, telling their stories, telling, their life experiences, and, sometimes even what they wish their parents
Would have done.
understood,
Yes.
understood or
Hmm.
would have done while they were growing up. So for me, when you actually get that diagnosis for your child, listen to autistic people. They know.
Wow. They
But
know.
yeah.
It's powerful
Hmm.
to know that our children, there's nothing wrong with them, right?
Yeah.
That our children are perfect, and that we are supposed to connect with
Hmm.
them and support them in whatever journey they're on. So
Yeah.
this is so very powerful. Thank you so much once again.
Yeah.
We will see you next week, everyone. Thank you so very much. Please do share, like, and subscribe to our videos. If you feel that this video was very powerful, or maybe it could help someone, feel free to send it out. If you have any questions, comments, we'll love to hear them. And remember, then your time is precious. I hope you're making it count. Thank you so much, Mia. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.